actually, I already had a label when I became an artist,
Okay.
because I never really expected myself to be an artist. It was never really my plan. Like I said, I wanted to be the producer. However, I noticed that being just a producer, unless you're Timbaland or Dr. Dre, you're not gonna make the money. Not as a house producer, or when you're Armand van Helden. and there's quite a lot of them, of course. But it's quite hard to make money as a dance producer, unless you have big crossover hits, which I didn't. So another reason to become a DJ was just the financial aspect. And I'm not talking big bucks. I'm not talking thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Right? No, I'm just talking paying my rent. I could pay my rent because I was a DJ in those early years. Like when I started, I was producing, and there were a lot of labels. They didn't want to put my music out, or they were telling me, yes, I like your track, but it should be this and this and no, whatever. And I was like, no, it shouldn't be like that. It should be like this, because this is what I had in mind, and this is what's working for me. And after a while, I just got fed up. Or there were some labels that they would release something for me and just do a lousy job or something. And I've studied marketing, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take care of this myself. And this was still in the vinyl times. So in Holland, we all go by on a bike. So in my city, which is Haarlem, your Haarlem comes originally from the name comes from my city, and in Haarlem, where I'm from, we have a big record vinyl company, one of the last vinyl plants in Europe. So I would go there on my bike with my DAT tape, digital audio tape, which is like a pre-CD. No, not pre-CD. Well, anyway, we used those things back in the days, and I would go there on my bike, and they would like press my track on a vinyl. I remember being there and the guy just pressing my digital tape on a vinyl. That was cool. And I released a lot of vinyls, and they went well. And as my label was growing, I started to grow as an artist. So I did it a little bit in a strange way. A lot of DJs or producers, they just find a label and the label pushes them. In the beginning, I did that myself. Yeah, everybody has his own way, I guess. I was playing once in Amsterdam at a party with a little bit of an older public, like 30 plus. So a lot of people that used to go out a lot, and then they stopped because they got married or whatever, they had kids. And this is one of those parties where they all got together again. Lots of drugs and like crazy people, like a lot of like muscular guys just like showing in, a lot of silicones and like crazy. But everybody was having a good time, and it was the kind of crowd that used to go out and listen to trance a lot. So I was playing a little bit like big room kind of style, and I was really having a good time because those people were having such a good time. And all of a sudden somebody taps on my back, and I'm in the middle of the mix. Literally my two faders are open, and I turn around, and like this far from me is a white, I don't know if it was a python or a cobra or whatever it was, but like a 3 meter tall snake, scaring the hell out of me. I don't like snakes. And it was around some guy, and he wanted to give it to me. So I have like, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 people dancing. I have two faders up, and a guy wants to give me a snake. And I'm like, no! And then there's a camera behind him filming me. So it was like totally ridiculous. And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, he's not gonna do anything. I'm like, I don't care. I don't want your snake. So that must have been the craziest thing that ever happened. Yeah. And one more thing. One day I got a message. I used to work a lot with Sydney Sampson, a good friend of mine, and we used to do quite some tracks together, and we used to play a lot together in Holland. I mean, he's now touring a lot, and I'm touring, but we used to play a lot together. And there was this girl that really liked our sound, And one day we get this message. She said, I got a son, and I called him Sydney Gregor. I forgot the surname. And we were like, wow. So now somewhere in Holland there's a little guy walking around with our names. Yeah. It's hard to say who are my favorite people to work with, because many of my tracks are collaborations or co-productions or whatever, whether it's me producing and working with a singer or a percussionist, or whether it's me with another producer really producing together, or me with a DJ or whatever. Most of the times I really enjoy it. It's all different and it's all learning experiences, and I really couldn't say what I like more. Yeah. What makes me different from a lot of producers is that I'm really in between of two worlds. So I'm from Holland. I'm from the country where probably most big, or at least a lot of big house, techno, trance, EDM, whatever you want to call it, producers and DJs come from. And right now the sound that is working best in Holland, and I think also in the States, is this Dutch kind of EDM sound. So that's where I'm from. On the other hand, I love classical music. I love soul music. I'm a huge Bill Withers fan. Bill Withers is my man. Like, he's the Don, you know? I don't think, probably most of my Dutch colleagues don't even know who Bill Withers is, you know? So that's the difference. Now, I'm not saying I can do what Bill Withers can, because I can't. But me listening to all that kind of music, listening to Fania All-Stars, Hector Lavoe, and you know, listening to cumbia, listening to African music, listening to all that, and bringing that back to my productions, even though somebody who loves Bill Withers might never hear that and might say, this is crap. But me taking all these experiences and all that influence and putting it in my music makes me different from all the Dutch guys. But me being a Dutch guy makes me different from all the other guys that make soulful or Afro or Latin or whatever they do. So I'm really somewhere in the middle. And some people like that and some people don't. But that's what I am. A lot of stuff. I mean, I'm working on a track now with Diplo. I hope it's gonna work out, and I hope it's gonna come out. I'm gonna meet him probably in a week and a half in LA, and we're gonna see if we can find a good vocal on the track. Let's see if that's gonna happen. I mean, sometimes with collabs for whatever kind of reason it doesn't work out, or the track never gets released or whatever. But let's see if that's gonna come out. I got quite some more collaborations coming up. A new guy called Wiewek. He's a Dutch guy, very talented. Another guy called Funking Matt. He's also on our label. I have some stuff with him, and it's gonna be released on Laidback Luke's label. I just did a new J-Lo remix, you know. I did the remix for, what's her name? I've been work.
Iggy Azalea?
Yeah, Iggy Azalea, yeah. So all kinds of different stuff. Then I was like a week and a half ago, I was in London working together with Skin. She's from Skunk Anansie, which is a band you guys probably don't know, but they were huge in Europe and in Britain. Now you can ask any guy from England who Skunk Anansie is, and they'll be like, oh, you know. So I was in the studio with her, and like, she's this rock chick, very cool, soulful, but very rock chick, and we're working on some stuff together which is totally different from anything I've ever done. So I'm just like, I mean, it's probably not the best way to to get to my goal, because I don't even know what my goal is. I just want to make music that I like, and I always want to experiment with new things, and that's what I'm doing. Well, first of all, thank you all for watching, and keep on watching. And for the young DJs, the young producers, one thing I keep repeating over and over again, because a lot of people ask me on my webpage or on my Facebook, even on Twitter, like what can I do to have my break? Like, I want to get my record released, or can you help me get a gig, and that kind of stuff. And then they send me those demos, and they sound almost the same as, for example, the Beatport Top 10 or last summer's track or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but I already heard that, you know? So I'm always saying, like, try to learn from what's successful. I did the same. There's nothing wrong with trying to copying something if you're learning from it. However, you have to reach a point where you're not just copying, but you're creating your own sounds. As a DJ and as a producer. And as a producer, if you're just gonna produce what everybody else is producing, nobody gives a... So try to come with your own sound, try to experiment. Don't be afraid to play something that the public might not immediately understand or immediately like. Because there's gonna be some people that get it, and that's gonna make you different. And that's the start of a career, so good luck with that. Hi, I'm Gregor Salto. I run the night. Do you?